guys, how's it going? So I got a beautiful song for you today. I'm actually embarrassed to say that the first time I heard this song was just a couple days ago. I was watching Vince Gill on his NPR Tiny Desk, and obviously I know who Vince Gill is, but I'm not familiar with any of his music. I didn't recognize any of the songs that he was playing on the Tiny Desk. I just know him from like the Eric Clapton Crossroads type of stuff, and I know him more for his guitar playing than I do his songwriting. And anyway, the last song that he played, I was in tears by the end of the first verse. It just hit me so hard. And then when the chorus hit, man, I like every hair on my body stood up, and it felt like the Holy Spirit just was flowing right through me. It was insane. And I just sat there and bawled like a baby hearing this song. Probably because I just lost my dog recently. You know, I talked about that before on Christmas Day. My dog of 15 years, I lost her, and I think that's probably what hit me so hard about it. But anyway, man, yeah, so I wanted to sit down. I said, well, I know what I'm doing today. I'm going to sit down and try to figure out a way to play that song. Instantly heard like an open tuning type of thing. And so I'll address the elephant in the room. I'm aware that my guitar is not perfectly in tune, that I've been out of tune for like probably a year or two now in almost every video with every guitar I play. It's not me, it's not my hands. I'm not pressing down too hard. I'm not banging on it too hard. Every one of my guitars, man. When I quit playing out a few years ago, I just kind of stopped maintaining my guitars and spending the money to have all the fretwork done. And so I haven't had my guitars worked on in like 4 years. And they've had thousands of hours put on them. And all these frets, man, they are so dented and pitted and divoted. I mean, it looks like some kid just sat there and like took a hammer to them. And so like I'll fret like 9th fret on the G string and I'll be 25 cents sharp. And then I'll fret the 5th fret on the G string and I'll be like 10 cents flat. So like it's so hard just for me to stay in tune at all. I'm trying to save money to get all this stuff fixed. I had it saved up, and then my dog got sick, and I just spent every dime I had trying to save her life. And so now I gotta start back over, try to get all this money, because a lot of my guitars need refrets too, and that's not cheap. And they don't just need like leveling and crowning and stuff, they need like the whole deal. And when you do that, it alters the way your guitar feels. And I'm kind of nervous to do that. I'm not sure who to take it to because I don't want to get the guitar back and it feels like a totally different instrument. But anyway, so yeah, I am acutely aware of everything I do that is not correct. Like if I'm playing out of tune, I'm aware of it. If I'm playing out of time and I'm rushing or I'm dragging, I'm aware of it. If I bend up to a note and I don't quite hit it and I'm a little flat, I notice it. I do all these, I'm aware of all of this, right? But you just can't let perfection get in the way of your creative flow and moving forward. You just got to take your lumps, learn from it, and it makes you better. And when you embarrass yourself like this publicly, you know, you don't want to do it the next time. So each time you kind of just learn, your ears get better, and just being aware of these things is really half the battle, right? So if you're struggling with that stuff, you're not alone. I don't think it's something that ever goes away, no matter how much you progress. And I think as you get better, you notice it more and more, and it drives you more and more insane that you can't get perfectly in tune or perfectly in time on whatever you're working on. So anyway, that being said, man, yeah, I just wanted to sit down and find a way to arrange this. I heard this open tuning thing, and I wanted to find some of the melody and stuff like that. So there's not really a lot to it. It's kind of variations on a theme, just different types of phrasing and stuff like that. But that's about it. Let's just go ahead and get into the intro. Alright, so for the tuning, we're actually going to use the tuning from the Goo Goo Dolls song Black Balloon. Now, I didn't intentionally use this tuning at first. I started with Dadgad, and then I started D-A-D, F-sharp A-D, then I went D-A-D-A-D-E, like a D-sus2, and then I went D-A-D-A, D-F-sharp with a high E on F-sharp, and then settled on D-A-D-A-D-D because it just sounded the best. And I've always said, whenever you're working in an open tuning, the G string is usually the culprit as to whether or not you can grab certain voicings and certain chords. It's always the G or the high E string. One of those two is usually the problem. So you gotta kind of mess around and just experiment until you can find the right shapes and everything like that. So low E, you're gonna tune down to D, then A, D, tune the G up to A, and then tune your B up to D, and your E down to D. Alright, so D, A, D, A, D, D, and that'll be our tuning that we need to play the song. Alright, so for the intro part, there's like this musical interlude that's just instrumental, and I'm not doing it exactly as they play it. I kind of start out doing what they're doing, and then I trail off into my own little thing, and then get back into it, right? So we'll start out. Alright, so all these chords, I'm not going to know every name of every chord I'm playing. I'll try to figure them out and put them up on the screen if I have time. But it's basically just all forms of like D, G, and A, pretty much, you know, a couple other things thrown in. So we'll start out, basically the whole time we're playing this, the low E, the B, and the E string are all going to be open. So you're going to have 3 D notes ringing out at all times, right? So we'll have 5 on A, 4 on D, and 5 on G. Strum that down once. Then walk up to 7, 5, 7 on A, D, and G. Take that same shape up 2 frets to 9, 7, 9 on A, D, and G. Okay, so then we'll strum on this for a couple measures. Then we're gonna walk up to 10, 9, 10 on A, D, and G. Again, everything B, E, B, and E open. And then I'll just slide back and forth from 10, 9, 10 to 9, 7, 9. Let's go back. And then go back to 10, 9, 10, back to 9, 7, 9, right? Okay, then we'll walk it back up. After you walk back up from 5, 4, 5 to 7, 5, 7 to 9, 7, 9. Now we're going to go 7 on E, A, and D with the open G, B, and E. Okay, and then we'll go all open strings, but then have 5 on A and 4 on the D string. Then I'll put my pinky down on 5 on D. Alright, that'll be the whole little instrumental part that starts the song before the singing begins, right? So Alright, so that's the little musical interlude that begins the song. I'm playing it a little differently, like I said, but you can mess around with it. You got all the chords, kind of phrase it however you'd like. And then we get into the verse. So let's go ahead and get into the verse part. Alright, so for the verse part, it's not going to be 100%. I'm just trying to get the vibe across, get the majority of the melody in there, and have it be recognizable. So when we get out of that musical, that instrumental kind of beginning there, we're going to take the same shape, we're going to slide it up to 10 and 9 on A and D. Okay, and that'll be where we start. So when you get out of that intro part and we get into the verse, fret this with your ring and middle on 5 and 4 on D and A and D. And then I know that your life on I don't know the lyrics. I've only heard the song 3 times. So we'll go 10 and 9. So strum, all the strings will be open, and then we're just going to be fretting A and D. All right. So when I call out the frets, it'll just be the A and D string. So we slide into 10, 9, A and D, slide back to 9 and 7, A and D, back to 10 and 9, then go up to 7 and 5 on A and D, and slide into 9 and 7. It's that I know that you're, okay? Just strum on 9 and 7, just get those nice kind of drony open strings. Okay, and then after you strum on 9, 7, then we're going to go 7, 5, back to 9, 7. and then back to 5/7, and then to 5/4. Okay, then we'll strum that out. So we have. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to strum that out. I'm going to put my pinky down on 5 on G, so I have 5/4/5 on A, D, and G. This is that only you could know the pain, whatever the lyrics are, right? Then we're going to take that shape from 5/4/5 on A, D, G, slide it up to 10, 9, 10. Strum that out. Now when you get here, mute out the low E. It wouldn't be the end of the world if you hit it, but it sounds a little dissonant, so I just mute it out and just play from A down. And then from here, we're going to go 9/7 A and D, up to 10/9 A and D. Then we'll hit all the strings open, but we'll hammer on 7 to 9 on A. And then I'll go 10/9, back to 9/7. Okay, so we have okay, so after you strum 9/7 out, go back to 10, 9, 10 on A, D, G. Strum that. Something about dealing with the devil. I don't know the words right, but then I'll just go 7/5 A, D with open G, B, and E. You can hit the low E, but I leave it out this time. Slide into 9/7. Go back to 7/5, and then back to 5/4 on A and D. I'll put my pinky down, give it a little bit on D, just hit it once. Then I'll hit all the strings open, get 7/5 A and D to 9/7 A and D. Then we're going to go 7 on E, A, and D with the G, B, and E open. Then go to 5 on E, A, and D. Then we're going to go 7 on E and A, and 5 on the D string with the G, B, and E open. And then resolve it back to 5/4 on A and D. Okay, so real slow we have how's it go? So let's play through that cleanly one more time, right? So that'll be your whole verse, and then we get into the chorus part. So let's go ahead and get into the chorus. Alright, so when we get into the chorus part, it's similar to the chords we did in the intro, and then we'll be adding in some new stuff that hasn't been introduced yet. And it's really just about strumming with all the phrasing and everything, right? So after we get out of it, kind of pause for a couple measures. Alright, so for the chorus part, it's really about the phrasing with your right hand and the way you strum it. Most of the chords will be stuff that we played in the beginning with the kind of musical intro, the instrumental intro, and then we'll introduce some other stuff, right? So after you get out of it, Okay, so we'll start out, we'll go 5, 4, 5, A, D, and G with all the other strings open. And then you pause, right? So we go 5, 4, 5, A, D, G, and then walk up to 7, 5, 7, A, D, G, up to 9, 7, 9, A, D, and G. Go rest high. And then you just strum that out. Walk it back to 7, 5, 7 to 5, 4, 5. Okay, and then mountain. We're gonna go all the strings open. We'll have 7 on A and D, and then slide up to 12 on A and D. Okay. We'll go down, all the strings open, hit 7 on A, 5 on D, 7 on G. You can just kind of hit it once or strum it if you want, however you want to phrase it, right? And then we'll go thumb on the low E on 5, and then A, D, and G on 5 with it. Kind of use your middle ring and pinky. Okay, then we'll strum. Walk it down on the G string from 5, then your index on 4 on G, then open G, while holding down E, A, and D on 5, right? Okay, and then you just go to open with 5 and 4 on A and D, and then you can kind of take your finger on and off of 5 to 4 on D. So okay, then we're going to repeat that. Now you got to change your fingering here, right? So instead of using your ring, middle, and pinky, now we're going to use middle, index, and ring, right? But walk it up 5, 4, 5, 7, 5, 7, 9, 7, 9. Walk it back down like we did the first time. 7, 5, back to 5, 4. Then do your walk up from 7 on A and D up to 12. And after you strum out 12 on A and D, we'll go 7, 5 on A and D. You can hit the open E with it, and then slide up to 9, 7 on A and D. Then go 7 on E8 and D, down to 5, then go 7 on E and A to 5 on D with the open G, B, and E. Okay, so you have alright, then you can take your pinky on and off of the D string there, right? So the whole chorus real slow, right? We'll get into it out of the verse. Here, you just repeat everything we did the first time because the melody is pretty much the same. You can kind of phrase things a little bit differently, but it just gets right back into that. It just does everything again, right? It just repeats that. Then we get back into the chorus. And the only other variation, there's this really cool walk-up with the instruments and the vocal melody, and I was trying to cop some of that, get back into it the best I could, but in the chorus at the end, it's like right at the end of the song, he does this little like, let's play through it once and then try to get it, right? We'll go, it's this little like, where am I? We'll walk up this pattern that we've already used, right? But we'll go 5, 4, 5. It's kind of like. It's a cool little rhythm, right? So you go 5, 4, 5, 7, 5, 7, up to 9, 7, 9. Then go back to 7, 5, 7. Then 10, 9, 10. Strum that. And then we'll go 7, 5, 7. And then back to 5, 4, 5. And then take your pinky off the G on 5, right? Then you can take your pinky on and off 5 to 4 on D. Finish it the same way, slide up 7, 5 to 9, 7 on A and D, then 7 E, A and D, 5 E, A and D, and then 7 on E, A and 5 on D, back to 5, 4 on A and D. And that'll end it, right? So that's your whole little chorus part. And that's everything. That's the whole tune. Like, there's not a lot of chords to it, but it's just such a beautiful song. And the way we're playing it, it's really about it's more about the right hand than the left hand, right? You're kind of, left hand's moving the melody, but the right hand's doing all the phrasing, okay? So just work on that. Just listen to the song. You can kind of play around with it. And if you don't want to play any of the vocal melody, you can still use these chords and play the chords that are just what the song is, right? So you have all these different chords. You can sit there and pick them out if you want to play along to exactly what the song is doing. All the chords are there if you want to use them. You don't have to play any melody or any of that. But yeah, man, it's such a beautiful song. I just want to sit down and do something with it, because anytime I hear something, especially something that impactful, that really hit me in the chest like that, I just want to sit down and figure out what makes it tick, and try to figure out the melody and everything like that. So that's everything, man. Just practice slow, have fun. I'll see you next time.